Alright, hey everybody, and welcome to this different kind of replaycast. This is a game from the rookie tournament hosted by the Bootcamp server. As the title suggests, this is a tournament for rookies, for new players, for inexperienced players, for new players, whatever term you have. Usually I'm not the type of person who likes to go over new players, bad players type of replays. But I got asked to do this specifically, and I said yes. So, here I am. And of course, even if I'm not necessarily the type of person to enjoy this, at least not all the time, this is still good to showcase what you shouldn't do in most scenarios. Not always, but sometimes it is. And considering this game is like 11 minutes long, this might just very well be this type of game that showcases very much what you shouldn't do. This is, I forgot to mention, between Easy Computer, who I believe is Topper Beb from the Bootcamp Discord, and EmilyRedPanda. We have, by the looks of it, Eurocore versus Blue for Mechanized. Two very strong decks. Eurocore not the strongest. This is probably the worst map for Eurocore by a mile. Right. I'm not gonna go too deep into this because So Eurocore also immediately starting with the mortar and the fob. That's basically a second SV, so which is why he only starts with one. Gazelle Cannon, pretty straightforward. Tiger for Eurocore, also straightforward. Tiger going far back, doesn't want to dive too deep into AA. Shoots down the Gazelle. Emily going very heavy for golf. Top Beb is going pretty much, I guess you could say, like kind of evenly on all the front lines, but kind of heavy on the top. Leopard 2 F4 we see here. Legion unloaded a bit too early, I'd say, for sure. Also no Amex kind of on the top for Emily here. Only a single one at the start. Amex being a key unit for blue mech. Surprised to see only one. A second one would have definitely helped to stop VABs to drive down there. The KFVs, Seller Spam, K1, M1. That's the usual stuff that you see from blue mech. Also with a fob. Achzarit Pikud. One of the best CVs. Oh, there's another AMX in for the flank. F1 CT, cluster bomber coming in for those tanks, I presume. One K1 down by the Milan 3. I believe that must have been a side shot, considering the way the K1 was moving. Oh, the F1 CT actually went for this part and killed, what was that? Gepard, and that's the Gepard, and that's a... Oh, that's just a 5-point res, but it did kill the Gepard. And heavily damaged the Warrior Milans, also something you don't see every day. I mean, the Mirage got out, so that's fine, but still... Infantry here just sitting out here in the open. Should probably not attack move and just straight move into the town. They're not gonna do much being panicked out in the open. So Emily should just try to get into the town here. Lots of stuff here on the top, but nothing being done with them. Same with those file scams. I definitely should move up here. TGB, you could argue it's a worthless transport, but they're very useful to just park into this key spot. And as soon as this dies, you know something is there, because whenever this spawn wants to do something in this area, they basically have to go past this. In theory, of course, they could just cross over to open field, but most players won't do that, or at least if they're half decent, they wouldn't. So just parking it here would be very useful. Just as information, effectively. Information by dying, I guess you could say. I guess those Roboid are gonna try to go for the forest now. Town. Fusiliers as well. Not an attack move, might. Okay. K1 or the Warriors dealt with the BAP. Could have dealt immense damage to those Fusiliers since they were moving and not using the Law 80. Still nothing being done up here. The reservists are gonna move. Not sure why. I'm not sure if this was a... I guess he just wants to check if they can get in there for free. They're just 10 points, these two squads, so even if Top Web loses them, who cares? No second CV for either player just yet. Also, the Panther not being moved up to the front line as well. Mortar has been used. I was gonna say has been bought but not used. Also good smoke usage here, blocking off the line of sight of the Leopard 2A4. Very good. Sellers just gonna kill all those reservists. Nothing top up can do here. Reservists are just very bad against any kind of vehicle. Although I did manage to kill a T-80U, I believe, with them once. So, you know, it's something. A masses of infantry though, just blue mag things, just moving all over the map. Still, again, nothing being done here with those. The GGB did die, and the Falschgame Sega did get moved up a bit. Not ideal though. I think this area would be better, but you know, doesn't have to be like 100% ideal all the time. MX10 did manage to get behind the flank. I'm wondering if the game ends by the CV being killed. I know what the score of the whole set is, but not of the specific game. Colonel's coming in probably for a 2v4. Might get shot on by the Tiger. Uh-oh. Oh, very unlucky. But that's 60% misroll for you. You know? And that's why Tigers or AA helicopters have trouble shooting down planes if they fly by in like very close vicinity, like this type of, you know, line, I guess you could say. But if they fly like in front of it or like in a rather large circle around, they have a lot of time to turn, and the missiles have a lot of time to turn and actually a chance to hit. But if you fly by very close, then the missiles usually just can't turn fast enough to even have a chance of hitting the plane. If that makes any sense. MX10. Oh, it's just moving up at the right time. Might kill the P4, unless the Kaiser spots the MX10. Also nice to see the AMX-10 piece being used. They're actually pretty decent. They're not amazing, but they're okay. Tiger is hovering low, so it can't really spot very effectively. At the same time, it's also harder to kill, but no AA being called out whatsoever ever since the Gepard died. Bit aggressive here with the Fastcam Seagara. Yeah, they're gonna just die here out in the open. Didn't do all too much, but considering the reservist side, and the VAP died, the Leech 90 are the only thing in this forest, and the fire actually forced him out into the open. The fire here, I'm not sure how the fire got to be here. Was there a vehicle that shot there? It's very interesting. Oh, did they plane crash here, maybe? No. I'm not sure how the fire got here, honestly. I didn't pay attention. This was a mortar round, maybe? I'm not sure. Kyler, oh, not hitting. Oh, and it's just moving into the K1, getting sighted by the Falschgame. They got it down to 3 HP. Got noticed by top up, so it's reversing, but too late, and also... Oh, and that's the GG. Well, that was a quick one. No CVs, neither of the CVs got killed in the spawn, I believe, by the MX10. And I think this game is even shorter than the first one. No, this is actually the longer game, okay. Well, maybe we'll actually see more stuff happening in here. So we have Soviets for top map, and we have Baltic for Emily. I'm personally not a fan of positioning the units at the edge of the highway, but if that helps you with giving the proper orders onto the proper zones for the specific groups of units, you know, that's obviously perfectly fine. So, hang on, is there no second CV here? I think there's no second CV for top map. I've seen players do that every now and then. I've seen Putin do it once. I've seen Nick the Man try it a couple of times. I don't think that's a very good idea. Unless you have like a very specific strategy where you, like, I don't know, try to heat drop into Foxtrot or some shit. But usually I don't think it's worth it at all. Because not only, well, it's not even about the conquest points at all. It's obviously about the spawn. But you may save like these 100 points in the opener. But your first wave or waves of reinforcements will also arrive so much later, especially for this side. It's obviously not a big deal for Charlie, but for Echo and Delta it is. And the longer you wait for buying the CV into Bravo, the easier your opponent has it to push you out of Delta and Echo respectively. Might MTV with BDV, I presume. There's the CB. Again, kind of not really very decisive on either side, from top up being kind of even on the whole front line, I guess you could say. Some people just like to do that. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But then you have to be good at reading your opponent's forces, meaning where is he weak, where is he strong. That was very unfortunate. BRDM3 was not here on the edge, so it didn't have a chance to even spot the KTs until they got up onto the highway. That is why it's so important to have recon, or even like any kind of unit, but ideally recon on these edges here, because if the BRDM3 is sitting in here where it was, where is it? Here. It can't spot shit that's driving down here. You're completely blind what's happening down here. So the KT could just very easily just drive up there, get into the forest, unload and kill the BRDM3 without getting spotted even until, you know, they kill the BRDM3. This is so crucial. This forest is also crucial for the red player. Hog 51, I'm not sure what it went for, but it died. BRDM3 not in a very good position. It can spot into here, but not very much into here. The T80 doesn't have medium optics, so it definitely depends on something like a BRDM3 or infantry to spot for it. So this is effectively a blind spot for the T80. You know, the Model Striker can spot if shit is shooting from down here, but this is not ideal. This is way too far back and not unloaded. MI17 is at least gonna potentially stop stuff in here, but now they're getting unloaded. I guess Emily was too scared now, realizing that it was so far back, to move it up, but should definitely move up and not just give this up for free. I guess the MI17 is there to scout ahead. It stunned the crash head before after it fired barely, but still dies. MI17 died for nothing, considering the Erika is not even gonna try to move up. And this, I guess, signals Suburb that, you know, he can just try to move up, and this is, for now, free area for him. But these Ericas could potentially do a lot of damage. And also probably gonna kill those that MI24 BP, unless, no. But that second shot with the Igla was even a critical hit. E64 BB, obviously contesting this, but it's not gonna stop the horde of infantry and those two empty wilks from just moving up without a contest. VDV90 are gonna two-shot. No, they must have gotten 3 shots onto that one M2 wilk. Interesting. Not a very good micro here. 120 point tank was definitely relatively easy to save. USC way too far back. Also, I'm not sure why the USC was bought even in the first place. When you lost Delta, and most importantly when you lost this, you can't afford to buy a CV unless you're like, it's like, you know, high time, meaning that, you know, the enemy is like 50 points away from winning and it's taken with a +1, you know. That's a different situation, but when you're in such a position, you can't afford to buy a CV. Not to mention that it's currently out of place. Soviets in general is just not a very good play, and not a very good deck to play when you're not a very good or experienced player. I think that is, for most people, rather obvious. Of course, you know, if you enjoy the deck, play it. This is a fun tournament. This is not for tryharding, right? I'm just saying, if you're considering playing Soviets and you're not a very good player, just be aware that it's a very hard deck to play. Unless, of course, you're a Healer Rusher or something, but that's a whole different story. And I don't mean, with Healer Rusher, by the way, before you think this is a cheap shot at Putin, it is not a cheap shot at Putin. But also, they're kind of lucky and killing the Spike squad with a single salvo. Very nice, but, you know, top up is still in a pretty bad position, honestly. BMPT's being bought. They're gonna be amazing against Yakari. He just has to watch out for that empty wilk on those air decoys. MiG-29S and MiG-27. MiG-27 failed to get a second missile off onto the empty wilk as well as a gun run. I assume that top up either didn't give an direct attack move onto the Wilk, or just gave it too late. So that was very unfortunate. MiG-29S, Iron Bomber. Where did it bomb? I didn't even see that. Yeah. Splats are gonna spot this. The KTs should definitely move up and just deal with them. Oh, Eriko's barely get out. Definitely should turn off their weapons. Right now they're basically useless as a fighting infantry. So definitely should try to preserve those. You're gonna... Yeah. No, hang on. Yeah, Emily can't spot them, so definitely should move up those KTs to deal with those Betzas. I mean, more of course helps, but KT would be quite a bit faster. M2 Wilk is being retreated. Very good choice. All those infantry died in there. That's a good opener. Although those two Yukari squads are gonna be a pain in the ass. Although if attacked properly, they won't really do too much to the BMPTs. BMPTs, by the way, ideally you should in most scenarios turn off the HE gun, the 2A70 with the 2450 meter range, because even at close quarter range they will use that over the autocannon, and close quarter range the autocannon has a much higher DPS. And it's good for dealing with infantry, ATGM infantry specifically, at long ranges of course. But in these scenarios you want the autocannon over the HE gun, the long range HE gun that is. KTs got killed by the MiG-29S, so there's not much stopping those Betzas crew from coming in. If microed properly, Emily will have a chance here, but it's gonna be a bit micro heavy here. Those two squads have to engage at the same time, and you probably want the Panzeri to engage first since they have more HP to survive the shots by a Spetsnaz crew. MiG-27 coming in again. MiG-20... How was it? Are you telling me those Spetsnaz crews spotted that? Or did those Spetsnaz crews spot through that bush? I'm not sure, it's hard to say. Pretty unlucky for Emily to spot that. For top up, but... He gets out alive. MiG-29 didn't kill. CC trying to sneak around. Tabeb didn't actually capitalize on nothing being there, but Emily also being very slow with the reinforcements and forgetting about them. It's also something you see very, very often. I mean, it happens to me as well, of course, here and there. I'm just forgetting about reinforcements you bought. K52 was standing here for the whole game. By the way, also doing nothing. 130 point recon chopper and a seat was literally doing nothing after the opener here. So be aware of these kind of units, or of units in general that you bought and just put on flanks somewhere. Every now and then just zoom out far and check, you know, are there any units that I positioned somewhere and then forgot about or something, or bought and forgot about, you know, like these Panzer Yakari and the KT. Be aware of that. These crew did get killed. Panzer Yakari got out with 1 HP and yeah, did get finished off by the BMPT. He said as use, they're very nice. But Gunner will have no trouble dealing with them. Motor Strelki failed to kill the Musti. T80 shouldn't really stand a chance against the Wilk, especially with much lower base accuracy. And obviously worse AP and worse armor. Two MiG-29s circling. Oh, one of them is being called Raikkonen, yeah. Kills the first MiG-29S. Also, now being evac, that's a bit too late. Yak gets out alive. MiG-29 also gets out alive. Also didn't hit. That's also very annoying, this reinforcement road for this one, especially if there are spikes in there. Milans, more often than not, you're fast enough down the road to not get hit by, because they lose line of sight before they can hit. But against spikes, you really have to watch out or just keep smoking them. That's so annoying if there are spikes in there. Also, again, units here doing nothing. I don't know why they got bought here and or told to go there, but they should definitely move up. Also currently no tank in mid for Emily. Clearly focusing on the top side here. And she did get rid of those monostrike in there, so that's something. T80. Gonosreki are gonna be nice, but they won't have the range to shoot back at tanks at long ranges, which are gonna give fire support to those Yakari ones that are gonna move in. MiG-29 S-Bomber again. MiG-29 ASF is currently turning, and yeah, too late. Didn't get any missiles off. All of the Yakari died, but there are already more on the way. BRM-3 died, the only fire support. There's an Akuna. Gonna have a hard time against the I-290 unless it's gonna be too far away, or like not gonna move up with the other stuff. Top up moving into Delta. Delta, there's not all too much left for Emily. Bootcamp 1 getting the Hawk down to 1 HP. What did it kill there? That was BRM-3, another one. Alright. Was a plane there, got out alive though. USC being bought because Emily is sticking with the +1. But those Gonosreki, yeah, there we have it. The work is gonna just shoot at those Gonosreki. Oh, they're out in the open now. Okay, they did move up and kill them on work. That's nice, but they're still gonna die. But definitely got, you know, the points back. Ooh, that was a way too aggressive BMPT. Just got wrecked by. Hold up, Charioteer killed it. Okay, I assume it must have gotten hit by something else before it was damaged, but the Charioteer finished it off. Not something you see every day. Wondering if that was a rear shot, huh? Okay, it was a rear shot for some reason. I don't think Top Up reversed it, you know, on purpose into there, but for some reason it did. Emily finally decided to probably move up here. VDB are gonna get killed. Gonna deal with one of those KTs. 27 killed, probably something like a KC here. Yeah, Musti, I think. Oh, not a KT, I think, actually. But Aquila now in full control of Emily. The Aquila did get killed by the 890 once again. Horrible caster, missing it. Scratched in the back, forgotten about. These still haven't moved. I don't know for how long they have been here, but quite a long time. What do we have here? KT forgotten to be unloaded as base defense. Smurge, not for base defense, but here. Air decoys, I don't know when they got modded or when they got moved here, but they're gonna potentially do a lot of dirty work here. Also, the game is about to end, so. T64BV is one of the units that barely did anything the whole game, I feel. Except for like being there, but it didn't provide a lot of fire support, which I found unfortunate. Down here, both players just didn't really capitalize or fully use what they had to their advantage, which is what you see very often, because when there's a fight going on the front line, it's very often that the newer players or inexperienced players just can't, like, they're too focused to bother about, you know, the other side of the map unless they like realize they're getting rolled over there. It's just normal. It did look like for a while that Top Up was coming back into here, and I guess considering that he got pushed out here, he felt he had to be a lot more aggressive, and that's why he moved that BMPT. I still don't understand why the BMPT decided to show its rear armor, because I'm pretty sure that he didn't on purpose tell it to reverse into the enemy's charioteers. I think overall the thing that you see the most in these kind of games is not necessarily so much micro, I'd say. I mean, of course, the micro isn't as good as you see on other players, you know, as we saw on the BMPT. But I think the biggest thing that you notice is units on flanks, or sometimes even the whole flanks, just being forgotten about, right? Just because they are too focused on the main front line, which, you know, totally works out if you play against, if two players of equal skill are playing against each other. But you know, that's why it's very often that these types of players just get absolutely shit on by stronger players, even if the macro is on the same level. But this type of macro game is just, I think macro in early stages of your skill level of Wargame, I think the macro game is a much bigger issue than the micro game, I feel, the more I think about it. Not saying that micro isn't a deal at all, but I think macro is just usually the bigger deal. Yeah. Both games, neither of the units behind the lines did anything, but also this game showcases, if you look at the KD isn't everything. Of course, in 95% of the games, the player who won also had better KD in Conquest. But sometimes it's not only about killing units and preserving units, but pushing where your opponent is weak. And even if you have fewer points on the field, in order to defend, you don't need as many points as the enemy needs to attack. If you have 800, you can defend against a 300-point attack with 100 points worth of units. You know, so that's why KD isn't everything. Positioning is key, and again, in most cases, if you get a good position, you'll end up with a better KD. And I'm pretty sure if the game went on for longer, Emily would have end up with a better KD. But I think this still showcases that KD isn't everything. Yeah. I hope you learned something. If this video is gonna be uploaded at all, I have a big backlog, so it's gonna be a while until this is public. I might cast more of this tournament. Who knows? Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.